DeRosa with Twin Spires and Brisnet. Pleased to be joined by NHC champion Justin Mustari. And when you're the champ, Justin, you get to troll me, and I see you're doing just that with that Cubs flag in the background.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You have the pleasure of seeing a world championship in your lifetime. I have not. And you also have a handicapping championship to go with it. What was it like taking it down in Vegas?
Yeah, that was just an amazing feeling to take down an event like that, and obviously the money that comes with it, but also the Eclipse Award is something that I'm extremely looking forward to. And it's just to have an event like that and to be 26 years old and to win it's awesome.
No doubt. Now, going into competitions like that, I've played in a few poker tournaments, big handicapping contests. Obviously, you want to win. That's the goal. And you go there hoping to win. But realistically, winning is pretty tough to do, which you did. But what going into the weekend, what were you telling yourself would be a success in your mind?
Yeah, if you can get to the top 10% and make it to Sunday and guarantee yourself $10,000, that's an unbelievable 3-day weekend for a 26-year-old or anyone's age, I'm sure. So my goal was just to get in position and make it to the top 10% and see how that card in the morning of Sunday comes up and see if you can give yourself a chance from there.
What is Sunday developed, and we'll get to sort of your big play that, really put you over the top in a bit. But as Sunday was developing, mind on the final table, getting to that next step, how were your plays going? Did you have to deviate from the horses you really wanted to pick in order to get to where you needed to be, or was the initial path pretty straightforward for you?
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. Me and Arias, I think, had a pretty big lead compared to third, fourth, and fifth going into Sunday. So I knew there was not a ton of things I had to go after to keep myself in the top 10. So I kind of felt pretty locked into the final table going into Sunday based on how the card set up. It looked like a lot of smaller fields and shorter prices. So I just thought, play what I know is going to win, or at least get some points on the board, and that should secure me to the top 10 and see what happens from there.
With that kind of lead, was there ever a point before the final table where you were worried what other players are doing? Obviously, a cap horse would make you raise your eyebrows, but were you able to just play your game, so to speak, until the final table?
Yeah. I don't think I even played a horse over 6 or 7 to 1, but I think there was only one 9 to 1 shot in the whole Sunday morning that won. So there wasn't really anything that I felt I could get past at least by more than a couple people. So I felt pretty confident that I was going to be at the final table.
Before we get to that final table, did want to take a step back to Saturday, because I thought it was really intriguing that the Travers Stakes, which had a 2 to 5 horse, which everyone knew would be 2 to 5 in it, was a mandatory race. How did you approach that?
We were talking at our table with my dad and a couple of the other guys, and I knew I was close on the day 2 leaderboard that the winner of that gets a BCBC entry. So I was kind of thinking about that kind of thing, even though I was in the top 10% already and looked pretty locked in. And so we were making jokes that the 2 to 5 shot could definitely get me a chance to that day two leader. And I was really confident that he couldn't lose. So I was trying to play him and decided not to, and tried to get the horse to run second. But I kind of steered away from him in a contest like that at 2 to 5. You can get pretty much place points on a 5-6 to 1 shot that would basically cover both. But say going back, stealing those $3 or $4 was a lock for sure.
Who did you end up picking?
What, I don't remember.
So it wasn't the place horse, I would say.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the place horse.
All right, well, it worked out. Final table, and of course, your big stake in the ground. You ended up thinking to yourself, you'd rather go down with a shot to win it than just chip up, and you gave yourself a big chance in that race at Del Mar. How'd you end up deciding which long shot to take, and what gave you the courage and constitution to take a horse even you admitted you didn't love?
Yeah. So I've grown up watching my dad gamble, watching some of his friends play, and a lot of them have been pretty successful. So I've seen the type of things that they do at the end of contests to win tournaments and to be successful. So him and his friends have trained into me the last couple of years that you need to take shots and you need to be playing bigger exactas or bigger win bets and those kind of things. So that was something that didn't seem to cross my mind to be going for it. And then leading up to the race, the Golden Gate race went off maybe 7 or 8 minutes before the Del Mar race. So we only had probably 6 or 7 minutes by the time that went off to put our plays in for the Del Mar race. And it wasn't much time for the last race of the final table. And I'm looking through the program. I had an opinion early in the day of who I liked, and the horse ended up being 4 or 5 to 1. So I knew that wasn't going to get me a chance to win. It may not even have got me to third, but I was going to, if that horse wins, I'm for sure locked into 4th place, and that would have paid $100,000. And so I'm looking through the program, trying to find something that I think that I at least have confidence in, because I wouldn't play something like that if I thought the horse didn't have a chance. So I found the 5 horse, the Carla Gaines horse, and it was coming off of a layoff since the end of January. Her numbers are 7%, 8% off of a 90+ day layoff. So I didn't like that, but the horse ran numbers that were legitimate numbers that could compete in the field. So I knew that the horse runs back to these figures, he has a chance. So I felt pretty comfortable playing that. And I told my dad, I said, I'm going to play the 5 horse. And he tried to kind of talk me off the horse and say, hey, think about it this way. You're potentially going to, if someone passes you or 2 people pass you, now you drop down to 5th, that's pay 75, drop down again. That could be a $25, $30, $40,000 swing by playing a horse that maybe is not so logical. And I basically told him, I said, hey, this is something that I may never have an opportunity for, to win this kind of money. So I have to give myself a shot at trying to go for this, because I wouldn't be able to, in my head for the future, it'd be hard to move forward if that horse ends up winning and I didn't play him and would have won the contest. So I took a shot and it worked out well.
Yeah, once it just seems as handicapper horse player myself, once you sort of get that idea that if this horse wins, I can scoop the pool, win a tournament, then it starts going the other way, where if you're thinking of other horses, then you just go back to, but man, if that horse wins, how could I ever forgive myself? So you went with it and it came through. What kind of rooter are you? How'd you watch the race? And what do you do when you win that kind of money?
Yeah, so I'm definitely a lot more of a calm bettor. My dad is the same way. I've seen him hit $50,000, $60,000 in pick sixes, those kind of things, and he doesn't really show much emotion. But turning for home, when you knew you had a chance, it was getting exciting for sure.
What are you more excitable, on the golf course or at the racetrack?
At the racetrack for sure.
So you're you definitely keep calm and stoic on the course.
Yeah.
That's probably the way you need to be. I'm not a golfer myself, but I imagine the nerves can get to you in both sports.
Yep, definitely.
So you mentioned the numbers, and I know use both Brisnet and Ragozin, as do I. And obviously they, different approaches, and the Ragozin numbers, super premium and sharp and all the variables. What do you look at first? Sort of what's your progression in terms of how you look at a race using those 2 handicapping materials?
Yeah, I definitely look at the Brisnet PPs first. Try to get an idea of what type of race it is, what I think figures wise would need to win this type of race, and then get an idea of how the race is going to set up, using some of those first quarter, first half numbers on Brisnet to try to see who's going to be in the front of the pack, who's going to be towards the back, and if it's a race that looks like there's going to be a little bit of pace, if I want to play off of a closer and looks like some of the speed's going to fall over, and then I look into the Ragozin to kind of see who are those horses that are legitimate contenders based on where they sit out the gate, and just try to give myself those horses that I think have a legitimate chance.
Are you the type that likes to look for the gate to wire, or do you find yourself gravitating more toward closers?
I'm I would say probably more towards closers. Say it would have to be, I think at least off of Ragasons, when you're seeing numbers off of horses who like to go to the lead, sometimes to me those numbers are a little better than they could be. But every once in a while you get those speed horses that were in a fast pace and they give them a good number. So when those horses get on a lead anywhere near by themselves running back that next time, they usually are very successful. But I think based on Rags and Brisnet, I do look for a lot more of the horses who sit a little bit further back.
Where did you qualify for NHC?
Hawthorne. Played at a
okay.
OTB contest. That's where I qualified both my entries out of.
One of, I believe, Jonathan Kinchin qualified there a few years back when he had his big run. So, yeah, it seems to be a popular spot. I know Justin Dew goes up there as well. So NHC's win place, the mythical. BCBC is your next big tournament, the next big one. Live bankroll, very different style. Live bankroll, you can actually maybe gravitate towards some more likely winners if you use your bankroll effectively, whereas NHC, you're kind of typically staying away from a lot of chalk. Any thoughts on this year's Breeders' Cup and horses who have excited you that you're thinking, man, if I can get a juicy price there, I can sink my teeth into, or are you more the type you like to wait till the week of before even thinking about what might be a play?
Yes, I'm definitely waiting till I can handicap the race and give a better opinion on it. I'm not a person who likes futures or those kind of things. I like to try to play exotics and those kind of things. So trying to see how the race is going to set up is not something that you can normally predict in this far out. So I'll definitely be waiting till a little bit closer, but I say that's going to be a little different strategy involved going into the BCBC versus the NHC.
What, it's only 26, already at the top with the NHC championship. Any goals for yourself in terms of a horse player with a pretty nice bankroll to get you through years when a lot of people your age might not have the capital?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to get in over my head and be playing in every single event that comes up, because it's not a game that you're going to win as often as you think you are. And just because I win the NHC doesn't mean I'm going to go win the BCBC or a Keeneland event like that. So got to play off the tournaments that I think I have a good opportunity in and see if maybe I can succeed in those as well.
Well, it certainly will be an exciting fall for you. Are you doing the Keeneland tournament?
I'm debating on that right now. I think I'm going to go out and play that. I think that would be a good little start to preparing myself for the BCBC.
Yeah, live bankroll helps for sure.
Yeah.
And Jim does a great job down at Keeneland for the players.
Yeah,
so
he does.
Certainly encourage you or anyone to check that one out. And of course, the BCBC. And Justin, we'd love to have you at Churchill after the Breeders' Cup. I hope you'll visit us in Louisville.
Yeah, definitely. That would be a great time for sure.
All right, and we won't have to bust each other's chops about the World Series. I don't think either of our teams will be represented this year.
Yeah, no.
But you do have a Buckeye on the Bears, and the Browns are looking pretty good, so maybe we'll have some football to talk about.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, Justin Mustari, NHC champion, BCBC soon-to-be entrant, and proud Brisnet user, I'm happy to say. Justin, really appreciate the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.